good evening. I'll just turn that down because I'm getting a bit of feedback on myself. Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. In this video we're going to listen to Nico Kuhn and his interview this afternoon, and we're going to listen to Brendan Rodgers also. And one funny bit of news, I need to just, this brings a smile to my face. Stephen Yaxley Lennon's been jailed. Yes, Tommy Robinson's been jailed. So that's just a good bit of news, and I just thought I'd share that with you. And I know we're not going to talk about politics, but when knobs like that get jailed, it's fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, let's jump into the video. Stephen Johnston is in the house. I'll just double check that. So yeah, we're just going to jump straight into the video, and I'm going to listen to Nico Kuhn first of all. Let me just click this button here. Where is it? Interact. There we go. Let's listen to the one and only Nico Kuhn. I better turn this volume up first so that we can hear Nico, and there we go.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be a different game, but yeah. I think it was good point, but now we focus on Motherwell.
What are you expecting from Motherwell?
Yeah, I think like a lot of the games in the league, we have to create a lot of chances. We're gonna have the ball, and yeah, we have to use our chances and do a little bit better than against Aberdeen.
The manager said after the game in Italy the other night that the performance and the results should give the players a real confidence boost for the remainder of the European campaign. Is that the way you view it as well? What impact does that have on you?
Yeah, I think so. I think a point that was really good. I think we showed that we learned from the game before. We did much better. We were compact as a team, and yeah, from this we keep going.
Exactly, and I think the good thing about it is that Celtic as a team will get a massive, I'm just going to jump into the comments first of all. Baz, can you give a shout out to my man Maka? It's his birthday. Gemma, happy birthday to Maka, and it's absolutely great news that you've got, isn't it? It's fantastic news. So he'll be having the birthday of boys, because he's one of us. But yes, happy birthday to Maka. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and you must be proud as punch this evening. But let's listen to the one and only Nico Kuhn again, and then we'll jump back into the comments section.
It's such a busy schedule that's coming up as well. Is that the type of thing that the players are really looking forward to, just having games every few days?
Yeah, of course. You train less, you have less days to recover, but for us it can be also good to just show what we can and just get the points. We have to deliver, and in a short period we have to do it.
There's maybe been some questions asked about the team after the Dortmund game and the performance, but do you feel that was all put to bed with the performance on Wednesday and just how the players stood up to that test?
Yeah, I think already in the league after the Dortmund game we showed our qualities and that we can handle it. And as I said, it was a much better performance defensive-wise from us last game.
It was that. Do you think that the media in Scotland, do you think that there'll ever become a day where they give
all put to bed with
just a little bit of credit to Celtic and even Aberdeen, because we're both unbeaten in the league, and that's unheard of? Do you think there'll ever come a day where, I mean, I don't know if Aberdeen are getting any credit. I've not watched any of their interviews or press conferences before a game. But do you think that it's never going to happen, is it? The media are always trying to see out the negative side of anything to do with Celtic. And the fact that we are unbeaten in the league is still fantastic. We drew with Aberdeen, who are up there pushing us all the way, and it's got to be just talk up the game for a change, rather than trying to hit us with the negative stuff. But anyway, it's Scottish football, isn't it?
You mentioned you prefer playing games to training. Is that how you get into the best shape, sharpness? To be playing games all the time for you as a winger as well?
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to play a lot of games, but sometimes a couple of days of recovery are also good. But yeah, that's how it is, and we're just gonna focus on each game that's coming.
Is this a particular time when the rest recovery is important? Because I'd imagine there was a lot of running done by yourselves on Wednesday night. So.
Yeah, of course. You have to use the short period in between the games, and yeah, if you're on the pitch, then you have to give 100% again.
There's a lot of running done by the wingers every game. A bizarre question, if you ask me. I mean, I understand that he's asking about recovery times, but I mean, the wingers at Celtic, I mean, the wingers at any club, I mean, every football player, they're doing a lot of running, so yeah.
How do you do that as maybe away from the ground as well, away from the training ground as well? Do you have to just make sure you're doing all the right things? What do you do personally to make sure you're recovered?
I personally have to get a lot of sleep. It was quite difficult after the Champions League night, but now we had 2 days, and the physios, the staff help us and get us through those tough weeks.
The thing is after the Champions League game, people forget that they fly home about an hour after the game. They do the press conference stuff, and then the team heads straight to the airport. And there's also, I think, the Celtic travel also fly back straight after the game also. So they get back at crazy time during the night, and then they've got to try and sleep during the day, and we all know how disruptive that can be. But yeah, they've just got to get on with it. They're football players, aren't they?
Does it take a lot of work to switch the mindset between a game like Wednesday, where a lot of it you're in your own half, you don't have a lot of the ball, to a game like Sunday where it's going to be completely different? You'll spend a lot of the time in Motherwell's half attacking.
No, I think we are normally used to have the ball a lot, and I think that's what we normally do. So I think for us it was more difficult to be just compact and defend much more than we used to, but we did a great job, and now hopefully we can attack a little bit more again.
Exactly, and I don't think that. I mean, I've not looked into too much stuff with the Scottish media, but once again, they're not getting the plaudits. I mean, they're having. I've seen some sections in the media trying to have a dig at Brendan Rodgers on his defensive style and said, "Oh, you were proved. We proved you right that you had to change." And this, and it's like, well, nobody proved anything against Brendan Rodgers. Do you know? Nobody got. It's always this point scoring thing with the Scottish media. And I just think, just give the team some credit. They played the team that won the Europa League last season, right? They won the trophy, for goodness sake. Celtic have never gotten anywhere near that in the best part of 20 years, but they're not getting any credit whatsoever for an absolute masterclass by Brendan Rodgers. That just astounds me sometimes.
Give the team belief that they can switch between both. They can be compact and they can defend their box really well when needed, but also have that free flowing football and be open and expansive when needed to.
Yeah, 100%. I think we had to show that we can defend much better than we did against Dortmund, and I think also the coach said it after the game. Now we have to focus that we have to stay a little bit more calm with the ball when we have it, and then I think it was possible to create more chances and maybe get even more than just a point there.
Nicholas, how pleased are you with your own start to the season, personally?
I'm happy with the start. Happy that I'm just feeling good and be fit. That was the most important. Having full preseason, as I said.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just feeling good.
Good.
Did the result and performance against Aberdeen tell you anything that you didn't know already in terms of how competitive this league may be this season?
No,
That's a crazy question, because you've got to beat every single team, every single game. There's no such thing as an easy game in Scottish football. That's just nuts. There's no such thing as an easy game. Celtic have to work. Do you know, Celtic can push and push and push for the best part of 90 minutes when teams are sitting back. So there's no easy games whatsoever. I mean, of course it's a hard league.
As we talked about, we have a lot of games. It's going to be a long season. It just started, and yeah, we have a couple of games against them again soon. So
Yeah,
we're going to do better.
Yes, we will do better. And I think that's the one thing that this Celtic team will do is play better when it comes to Aberdeen at Hampden. I think that will be an interesting game, and I think Celtic will be a lot more defensive minded on that evening. Right, let's jump into the comments section and see who's all in this evening, and see what you're up to, and see how everyone is, and then we're going to jump back into the interview with Brendan Rodgers. Stephen Johnson was first in, then Jim was in, saying good evening everyone. He'll say, Baz says Stephen Johnson, Tam Max in the house, Gemma in the house, Paul Baird is in the house, Stephen Johnson, Tam Mac, hail to the knobs in jail. Yes, hail to the knobs in jail. That was the best bit of news. I went on to Twitter and I thought, why is he trending? Why is that absolute idiot of a man trending? And it was under his real name and not his Tommy Robertson knobbing name, his fake name. But it was his website and his Twitter page asking for money. The guy lives the life of a millionaire. Anyway, we digress. But the guy lives the life of a millionaire, and it's all funded by these idiots down south. But anyway, Gemma says, Baz, could you give a shout out to my man Maka? It's his birthday today. We've done that already. Happy birthday to you, Maka, and I hope you have a great day. GT Boy 67's in the house. Joseph Davidson's in the house. Jay Johnson says, Tam, you would be on SDB if you supported the Huns because you're a Tim. No airtime for Tims. It's not your fault, bro. Paradise Found is in the house. Jim McClarty's in the house. Great to hear everyone in. GT Boy says, hope you've changed them parking fees, Tam. Stephen, hope you're good, mate, says Paradise Found. Tim's in the house. Sounds like Kinky Boots song, Tam. What is going on? I have no idea what's going on. No slip-ups tomorrow. The game's Sunday, is it not? Says Andy. Is it tomorrow or is it? It's Sunday, is it not? The game. Now you're even getting me confused. Yeah, it's Sunday. Sunday at 3 o'clock your kick-off. Sunday 3 o'clock your kick-off this week. We play Sunday, says Carly. Yeah, it's Sunday. Thought it was Sunday. Right, let's listen to Brendan Rodgers and then talk about what Brendan Rodgers had to say at the press conference today, because obviously the first thing that we got told from Brendan Rodgers is the fact that the little man we've all been talking about, that we need him back. Some people say we need him back. Some people say that his replacement has played even better, so he's going to have to fight to get back into the team. And we're all talking about Greg Taylor.
Came back training with the squad, which is good news. Greg Taylor as well. So we've got one more day to go, and then we'll see how they are. But they hopefully will be involved in the game.
The fact that you've got the options there, the defence showing, exactly what they can do on Wednesday, is that quite good, knowing that you're not in a rush to get players back onto the pitch?
Yeah, well, we like them to be available. I think that's what's important. So it gives us options, which is what you want as a coach. But yeah, I think obviously the team defensively was outstanding the other night. So, but to have those two guys back, who are very important players for us, will be good.
What kind of challenge are you expecting from Motherwell, because they made it tough for you last season? I think it was one draw and then the 2 wins at Fir Park were injury time goals for yourselves. Yeah,
I think it's always been a tough place to go. I always really enjoy going there. It's always a really good atmosphere. We bring a great support behind the goals. So yeah, they're always tough games. Stuart, as his team set up well, go between obviously a back five, and then whether they play 2 strikers up front and 3 midfield, or a sort of 3-4-3 structure, it can just depend. Last few weeks has been more 5-3-2, so we'll expect a team that'll be well organised. Stuart organises his teams very, very well, very organised, very committed. They'll be disappointed with the last result, so they want to bounce back from that. And for us, we know what we need after a Champions League game. It's a big energy, big attitude, and continue with the great start to the season for us.
There's one thing that we need to make sure is that there's no slip-ups. There's no slip-ups whatsoever this weekend, because I think the one thing that Brendan Rodgers will want to make sure is that after the Dortmund game, I mean, we dropped points, but we need to be going at it. We need to. I mean, every game's a must-win game, really, isn't it? Motherwell away has always been a difficult game. I mean, I can go back years and years of going to Motherwell games, and even when Kieran Tierney was at Celtic injured, incidentally, and Kieran Tierney was sitting in the top tier part, and we've still got pictures. I should still have pictures on Facebook actually. When Kieran Tierney was sitting up beside us, right? Shush, it's just thunder. When Kieran Tierney was sitting up beside us, hey, stop it. So thunder outside. But you're putting me off, Doug. The fact that is it still got that sloping pitch, because you used to stand behind the goals and the pitch slopes this way. Which is weird. But anyway, let's get back to Brendan Rodgers and what he says about Motherwell away. Yep. Yep, and I can remember one late goal at Motherwell a good few years ago, where when the ball went in, there was a crush of people forward, and about 20 or 30 seats, when people put their foot up on the back of the seats to try and stop themselves, the old rusty seats fell to bits. And it was all of the media that Celtic trashed the place when they didn't. And the old rusty seats just fell to bits. The ground was falling to bits at Motherwell at that time, and any force at all on them. And it was just lucky that nobody got actually hurt. That nod your head, but we can't hear it. Oh Jesus! No sound bars. How's there no sound? Oh, for goodness sake. Going to have to go back and listen to that again, aren't we? Should be now.
And forecast it'd be great.
Go.
Everyone would love to be comfortable in the game, but sometimes it's not like that. So teams will give everything to get the result. But what hopefully that tells you is this is a team with perseverance and persistence and can keep going. So ultimately you have to do what it takes to get the result, and we always have that mentality that we can.
Are these some of the more satisfying occasions of manager, because it does show that the setup you've got, that the players stick to it and they go right to the final whistle to get it?
Yeah, especially some of those games last season. I think some of the games when I said we were searching for that late win. I think Matt scored a great goal at the back post. The ball could have been easily just pumped forward and into the mix, but we kept that calmness, and then Greg makes a great cross in the half space, and we get the winner, and it was everything that we would want. Scoring a late winner away from home, it is always really nice, and it's great for the supporters, and but of course, whichever way it comes, you just want to win.
Brendan, what pleased you most about the performance the other night in Italy?
I think that we're a team that normally obviously domestically, and a lot of times we play, and especially at home, we'll want to take the game by the scruff of the neck and impose our way of working in the game. But when you come up against superior teams away from home, and that you're going to have to be in difficult situations where you're not going to have the run of the game, and in that there you need a high level of concentration. And that was probably the biggest part that really pleases, that concentration level right to the very end, against, like I said, a team from a superior league and a top team. We showed that we could defend really, really well, and be compact and tight and all the things that we spoke about before. But we showed a great physicality in the game as well to match their physicality, and right to the very end, right to the 94th minute. So there were so many pleasing things. I think that it was a game where the players can take a huge confidence, knowing that we can play some brilliant football, some fast football, score many goals, but to keep a clean sheet and play how we did out there, not only does it galvanise the players and their confidence in when those moments come, because they'll come again, especially in the Champions League. It will happen in the league sometimes as well, but certainly in the Champions League you're going to have to go through spells like that. We now know that we can do that, and it's also great for the supporters. The supporters, as much as the football is great and intensity and everything and blah blah blah, they also need to know that your team can have a bit of dig, a bit of grit and determination, and I think we've seen that the other night against a top team. And their confidence and when those moments come, because they'll come again, especially in the Champions League. It will happen in the league sometimes as well, but certainly in the Champions League you're going to have to go through spells like that. We now know that Atalanta to have 4 points out of that. You would be very, very pleased.
Just generally in terms of this week, very good results for all Scottish teams in Europe. Indication that perhaps it's not as bad as some people think.
All the adverts. Anyway, we get the gist of what Brendan Rodgers was trying to say. He's over the moon with everything that went on in Italy. Totally over the moon with everything that went on in Italy. Just wait a second. So let's jump in the comment section and see what nonsense you are talking about tonight, because then we need to talk about predictions. We need to talk about predictions for the Hunt X thought his luck was in 10 years later. I said to him, oh Jesus, Carly, you're no right in the head. Nice to see him try 3-5-2 and match up to Motherwell again. Just add another potential system. I don't think that he's going to go for 3-5-2. Brendan Rodgers will stick with the 4-3-3 against Motherwell. I think we all know that. But yeah. So with that being said, what do you think? Read it, Pop Buzz. What? Read it, Buzz. I'm not reading that. Not a chance. So yeah, we got your score predictions in for the Motherwell Celtic game this weekend, because I'm only staying on for half an hour and we're 23 minutes into that. Man's a hun, of course he is. 3-0 Celtic. Joseph Davison's in first down. He says 3-1 Celtic. Stephen Johnson says 3-0 Celtic. And JT Boy goes 3-0 Celtic. Baz, it's Carly talking about her holes needing drilled. Yes, I know that, Tarmac. I read it. She's on about her holes getting drilled, and she asked her ex to come round and drill her hole in the bedroom. And he thought his luck was in, being a current bun. He thought, yes, that's it, I'm getting to do her once more. And then she handed him a drill. No right in the head, that woman. No right in the head at all. Can you see us putting on a show on Sunday? 5-0. I think it's going to be pretty much a good score this weekend. The fact that they do play a more defensive style of football Playing 5 at the back's never going to be easy at Motherwell. Celtic wingers will need to have their work cut out. I'm going to go for 3-0 Celtic. I think it'll be a tight game, but I think we'll get 2 goals late on. We'll probably score in the first half, and then we'll get one in the dying minutes, which will make sure it puts the game to bed. Derek O'Rourke, he's going for 4-1. Hank is going for 2-0. Jim C is going for 4-0. Jim McClarty is going for 4-0 also. I don't think it'll be a high scoring game. I think 3 maximum Celtic's going to get. Gemma's going for 3-0. Lanky Returns goes for 2-1. Paul Baird says, why wouldn't Brendan ask the question about Scottish clubs in Europe? The only reason the question was asked is because the Huns won on Thursday. Why would he talk about other clubs? He's not here to talk about other clubs in Europe. He certainly wouldn't have watched the game. The games. You can't watch 2 games at once. I don't even know if they're on at the same time or whatever. But what other teams do, it's no concern to Brendan Rodgers, and it's just the Scottish media at it again, aren't they? The Scottish media just want to get their take on Rangers done well. Well, Brendan's not going to say that. Derek O'Rourke's going for 4-1 up the good guys. Jim C's 4-0. Jim McClarty's 4-0. Gemma's 3-0. Lanky's 2-1. Out order of chaos. Welcome to the channel. He's going for 3-1. Paul Baird's going for 3-0 Celtic. Jed Johnson's going for 4-0. Stuart Ramsey's going 2-0 for me. I think it's going to be closer to the 2-0 than not. Stuart. Peter Larkin is going for 4-1. They always score against us. Lennon Muller for Motherwell. He's the one to watch on Sunday. Lanky's been talking about him for about a season or so now. So I'm going to make a point of watching him on Sunday. Young Lennon Miller. Because you were talking about him last season, and when it came to the transfer window, you thought it was a good shout that Celtic would go for him, but we didn't. Jed Johnson's going for 4-0. Baz, that's why we have the best Celtic community on YouTube, because you interact with the One Celtic Fan View community. That's the way that the channel was set up, and it's the way that the channel is always going to be. If other channels just want to talk amongst themselves and do what it is, live isn't about that. Live is all about the interaction, and that's why you do the lives. You don't just sit here to just do all the talking. You're here to entertain and interact. Tam Matt says, exactly, the Humps pumped a team of pure amateurs. Anyhow, yeah, I know. Do you think that the Rangers manager would have got asked after the first game of the Champions League, how do you think Celtic got on winning 5-1 in the Champions League? No, he would never have got asked that question. Lanky wants him at Celtic. Lanky does want him at Celtic. James Beattie says every other person in here is named James or Jay or something like that. That's a Scottish contingent then, isn't it? Big Des is going for 5-0 Celtic. Stephen McDonald is going for 3-0 Celtic, where he's got his little dancing chicas dancing about there. Stuart Ramsey says, good shout, Carly. Carly says she's not predicting anything because she's too busy trying to get her hole drilled in her wall in her bedroom by her ex-Hun hubby, who she asked, do you fancy coming and drilling my hole in the bedroom tonight? One of those nights. Anyways, you like my new hat? Got my new hat. Went back to the Adidas shop today and got my new hat that I spotted the other day. Anyway, the Huns think Lennon Miller will be in Ibrox in January. They've no money to do anything. The Rangers manager said that. They have no money. They've literally no money. And there was something went out tonight, actually. Let me go into the lands of Twitter. Because since we're talking about that Manky Mob, something came up that they... my brother sent me something in earlier. That must have been news. Where does it? Let me just go into WhatsApp. See what it was he sent. WhatsApp. It must have been in media. As a Daily Record. Breaking news, Rangers are set to shelf plans for further Ibrox upgrade works next summer. In the wake of this year's construction cock-up on the Copland Road end, the Rangers shelf Ibrox upgrade plans as John Gilligan makes Hampden move admission. Ooh. In other words, they've no money to do it. There's no money to do it. Talk any nonsense at all. The fact that every time that their manager talks, he says that, look, we've had to reduce the wage bill, we've had to get people over the wage bill, we have to bring in cheaper players, we have to work with the youth system, and blah blah blah. Who cares? They're all tripping, they're all on acid. I just wanted to hear my name. Carly says Stuart. Yeah, no idea. Peter King says it's going to be 2-0, and Lanky Return says, I've been talking about Lennon for 2 years. He's a younger player. He's definitely going to be a top player. I think if Celtic were going to go for him, they need to get him in quick, and not be another. I don't even want to say his name because he plays for Villa, and we play Villa at the end of this Champions League campaign. Carly is absolutely creasing herself because she asked her ex to come round and drill her in the bedroom. I get boke if my ex asked me to do that. Just being honest. Whole drilled. Oh boy, says James Beattie. Lanky Return says, in my opinion, there's a few young, good Scottish players out there that could move to us. There is, but it's will they get the game time? It's just it's the same old thing, Lanky. It's if we can't give our own youth setup players game time to get into the first team, and if there's no pathway for the youth players at Celtic, why would a young player in Scottish football then come to Celtic? Because a lot of younger players would be thinking that now. If you go to Celtic, what's the chances of you actually getting into the first team and getting games on a regular basis, where they could stay at the likes of Motherwell and stuff and get playing in week out? Fair enough, they can come to Celtic and they can up their wage to like 4 or 5 grand a week. But they can say, well, I could go down south, play for a team down south and get about 20 grand a week. You know, and they've not achieved a thing in the game. Skint FC, says Paul Baird, yeah, the Sevco will be the first time in 12 years of their existence. I called the Gives a shot of your trophy bike, FC. Big Des says, problem comes back is Inverness, Cali, Rangers. With Duncan as the gaffer, yeah, he's been sacked, isn't he? The only he'll play at IPOX when we move, when he plays for them, yeah, when Motherwell plays for us. Drunken Ferguson. Carly says, honestly, I never dented that with a drill. He had it done in 2 minutes. We do need men. Carly's talking about our man drilling holes. B says, Scottish young people need to lay off the bucky and deep fried food to become elite friggin' athletes, says B. I actually agree with you with that, because I mean, I see it every time I go home. The health of the nation is terrible, and the food that the people eat is just absolutely awful. James Beattie says, Baz, please give a hail to Martin McHale, my man, the Live Oak, Florida. He was there when Celtic brought the big cup home to Glasgow, and he watched the boys in the 1970s final. Well, there you go. Big up to Martin McHale in Live Oak, Florida. Love it, absolutely love it. I support 2 teams, Celtic and whoever's playing the Sevco. Yep, says Paradise Found. The X-Man, says Carly. Big Des says, anyone want to buy a ceramic trophy FC? Kiss my ass. What a YouTube name that is. Baz, 4-0 to the Hoops on Sunday. I don't think it's going to be 4 because they play at 5 at the back, and it's going to be one of those boring games. You're going to have to try and break them down. We're going to spend a lot of the time sitting in front of them trying to break them down. And I just think that it's that bore fest in Scottish football that we get. The game for me is tomorrow night, 9 o'clock and 8 o'clock your time, and it's the El Clasico. I can't wait to watch that because both the teams were absolutely rampant in the Champions League, and it's the clash of the Titans. It is the clash of the Titans as far as I'm concerned, but they aren't. Let me just see where they are in the league, because Barcelona actually top the league, which is interesting because it's been a while since Barcelona have topped the league, and usually they've not been that good. And then as Real Madrid, who are on 24 points, and then Atletico Madrid are on 20 points. Villarreal, and the rest of them are quite tight together. Interesting. Valencia's away down the bottom. Just shows you a massive, massive team that Valencia are, and the rock bottom of the La Liga. Rock bottom of the La Liga after 10 games. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sitting on -9 goals. You would never thought that. I mean, when you think about some of the teams, Espanyol, Seville are playing just now, Sevilla. Anyway, right, let's jump back into that. James beating me 2, Paradise Found agreed. Lanky Return says that's a better name than Haggis, Neeps and Hatatis. And it's Chris My Ass. That's what he's talking about. Tam Mack says we'll probably need a couple of pile drivers against Motherwell on Sunday. If you're looking at pile drivers, then I would take Callum McGregor to score from outside the box. I would take Callum McGregor to score from outside the box because he seems to be our player that does that this season. James Wheat says El Clasico will go down in the history of one of many football matches being played this weekend. One of the many, yes. And where is it? Is it in Barcelona? Because no, it's in Madrid. It's in Madrid. So yeah, them and their white handkerchief waving knobs. Nobody likes Real Madrid. Nobody likes them at all. Joe McFarlane's going to go for 2-0. I think 2-0 is probably about right. Yep, I think 2-0. Fancy Alex Baye to hit a couple of screamers this season. I think he will, and I think that it'll be interesting to see. He'll play, I think Alex Baye will play around about 60-70 minutes of the game on Sunday, and then Greg Taylor will get the last 20 minutes just to get him on and get him back on the pitch and get him started. Paul Bear starts on Sunday and scores, says Paul Beard. Paulo Bernardo starts on Sunday. Luke McCown to score, says Derek O'Rourke. Both of them play in the same position, so it'll be interesting to see which one to start the game. Brendan Rodgers got a massive choice. I think we should maybe listen to the rest of the Brendan Rodgers interview. Give me 2 seconds because I'll just need to do this. So, right, let me just turn the volume back up and we'll listen to a little bit more of Brendan Rodgers.
I think you mean. No, listen, it's waves, isn't it? You're going to, be judged at the end. I think you're going to have. You're going to have spells, like you say. Rangers good result last night, Hearts. So it happens. And sometimes as well. But what I was also understanding is that sometimes for the Scottish teams as well, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to grow in to it as well. I think of the likes of ourselves. We jumped from our domestic league, which is a fantastic league, into the Champions League,
Different
which
level.
is the very highest level.
Yep.
So that jump is a huge jump.
Massive.
It's not. With the greatest respect, we're not playing that every week.
Yes.
It's not like a Premier League team that has that where you're playing it every week and you get that level and speed and intensity in the game. And sometimes it takes that little bit of time to then adjust to it. But I think all you can do, and listen, all you can do is look after your own club and be the very best that you can be. And where we sit after the 3 games, I'm more than happy with knowing that we'll improve as we go along.
Is recovery a kind of really important bit of
time to then adjust to?
Given probably had to do a lot more running maybe than usual with spells without the ball on Wednesday night as well.
Yeah, I just think it's the intensity level of that, but it's why we try to play at the level we do every week, so there's not so much a
jump,
a big change. Our game domestically is to impose ourselves right from the very beginning, to play as fast as we can, as direct as we can, and then take that intensity into the into that next level. But it is a step up.
It is that
squad. You talked about.
I suppose you learn a lot more when I'm able like that than maybe from a domestic game, in the sense to see Nicholas Kuhn doing jobs he's not normally accustomed to doing. it's a good learning curve for everyone.
Yeah, listen, I think a lot of our game domestically is you're very much on the front foot, and then your defending is very much in a counter pressing format.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the ball back, you spend a long time with the ball, then you get it back quickly, and you're counter pressing, then you're going again. You go into Europe, of course, you're then having to be tactically that little bit more cuter because you're spending less time with the ball at times, and also you know that the opponent's level can really hurt you if you're out of position. So it's what's asked of wingers here anyway. But of course, it's highlighted even more when you get to that level. You have to do the work. You have to close spaces. You got to press. You got to run back, and then you can enjoy the ball.
It's interesting that he said that, talking about players being out of position, and I think would Greg Taylor have played his positions as well as Alex Baye at the weekend? It's interesting that he said that, talking about. What do you think in the comments? So you're just talking amongst yourselves as normal. Oh dear. We need another Nakamura type shooting for long goals. A Nakamura type player. I mean, Nakamura was more for his free kicks, wasn't he? I mean, that's Paulo Bernardo's meant to be the free kick specialist, but he doesn't get much chances.
You said after the Dortmund game that you would learn from this. And is that the thing that satisfies you the most? Is that the team did take on board the messages, but the distances between each other was perfect. I mean, you seem to really took on board what had to be done to compete at that level. Yeah,
I just think it was more, Andy. It was more actually just being concentrated. I think Dortmund, believe it or not, was the same idea. But when you lose the goal so quickly and you can then end up getting frazzled, and then you have that quality, then everything, then the distances then become much greater. Like you say, the press isn't quite right, the gaps start to open up, then becomes a little bit more open than what you would like it. Our game is all based on connection. When we haven't got the ball and when we have got the ball, lots of connections. But defensively, you had to be clear in our thinking, and that was the great learning from that Dortmund, is that if you concede, okay, it can happen at the level.
It can, that.
So him and Scalesy, but Scalesy I've seen now for a long time. One of his great superpowers is defending the box. He's great at defending, and when it comes in, he puts his head on it. For Austin, big admiration, especially since he's come in. He's a player that's been playing on the wrong side virtually all his time, but he's just got on with it and coped with it. But then you see one of the big reasons why we did bring him in. His ability to leap and defend in the box. He's really powerful with his heading, but also his speed. There's a couple of recovery runs in behind. He's super quick, and he got there on a couple of occasions. So I was so pleased for him, because sometimes you need a big performance like that at the big clubs to really show your value. But he's settled in really, really well, and really pleased for him.
That's one thing that Brendan Rodgers is going to have a headache about. When Cameron Carter-Vickers is back fit, who does he drop? Does he drop Scales about players being out of position? Or he doesn't get much chances.
I think Dortmund, based
does
on
he drop
connection.
Trusty? Does he drop Trusty and bring Trusty back in, and bring Cameron Carter-Vickers back into his position? Or does he drop Scales and then move Trusty into his natural position? I don't know. It's weird. It's Brendan Rodgers is going to have that. James says, I don't know why Brendan Rodgers bothers spending 6 years getting his UEFA Pro licence. 20 years experience could have just employed a few lads from our support who clearly know better. Yeah, I told you, James, stay off the Facebook pages. Stay off the Facebook pages. I didn't go near them. But anyway, how you doing, bro? Hope you're good. I have entered the Twiglet. The Twiglet zone. What are you talking about tonight? I have no idea what you're going on about. You're absolutely lost it. Anyway, let's listen to just a little bit more of Brendan Rodgers before we finish up the video.
Playing as a top team and who across Europe. We're one of the top goal scorers in all the top leagues. But they can have real pride in the team, and that's what I'm saying. It was not just for us as coaching and managing staff, the players themselves, but for the supporters. They know that this team can now do that. You know, that there is a graft there is a heart, there is a desire and an organisation that.
It's another game, and when we're 18 minutes into the video, and he's hardly spoke about the Motherwell game this weekend. He got asked a few questions. He got asked one question right at the beginning of the interview. What players are ready for the weekend, and then the next 18 minutes is analysing the game on Wednesday, and I think it's disrespectful and you don't see that done in England. You don't see that when they're focused on the game for the weekend. The media tend to ask them questions about how they're going to actually react to the game at the weekend. You know, the media in Scotland do this every single week to Brendan Rodgers, and it's getting tiresome, to be honest. The fact that he's having to talk about and justify decisions from the midweek game when there's nothing asked about. There's hardly anything asked about what's going to happen or how he sees or how he plans to play the game this weekend.
Your iPhone.
There's bloody adverts playing, so just wait till I get those adverts out of the way. And good old YouTube. And it's going to be, let me just see, let's get that.
So it's all natural. We had the same with Nicholas Kuhn. We've had probably the same with Callum McGregor over many years. So it's football. And listen, I understand it. People will make a judgment and opinion, but no, I'm so happy he chose to come here. He's shown more than enough in this short period of time. But he's going to be a fantastic player for us.
He won as well in midweek, who really showed his kind of concentration and tactical side of the game, just to support Callum McGregor and you know, do the defensive work.
Well, he had a massive job to do on Ademola Lookman, and that was one of the key aspects of his job, and it's what his strength is. His strength is his running power, and like I said, he's a different player to what Matt O'Reilly was, but it was for that very reason we bring him in, with that power and that running ability that he has to cover the ground, do the dirty stuff, and like I said, he had a specific job on that side against Ademola, who is, you know, an absolutely brilliant young player. So and I thought he did that job really, really well. And sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself for the team, and he's shown that since the first day he arrived, that's what he does and how he plays the game.
Can I just ask you about Tom Callahan's passing and your thoughts on Tom?
Yeah, I had a message this morning from young Tommy, the son, to say his dad had passed away. So I think all our thoughts and condolences are with Tommy. I think any player that's been signed twice by Jock Stein tells you how good a player he was.
Yep.
And no, it's always sad. I bumped into Tommy a few weeks only back, and yeah, sad day, but a real legend of the club, and all our thoughts are with his family.
All our thoughts are with the family, and I just think that sometimes the media gets bogged down on questions that are absolutely pointless. But anyway, Trusty against the Italians, they deserved a shout over CCV in my opinion. But Cameron Carter-Vickers wasn't fit. The manager was asked about Arne Engels and whether he thinks that Arne Engels is good enough, and Arne Engels had a difficult job to do, and the manager spoke about it. Very, very little information given on what he plans to do this weekend or anything about the weekend, which is just typical, isn't it? Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this evening. Paradise Found says Trusty did great against the Italians. Carly says dead. I haven't even idea. That Big Des says maybe. You're just talking amongst yourselves, aren't you? Anyway, on that note, I am done and dusted. We've been on for 48 minutes, way longer than I was going to be on a Friday night. I shall see you first thing tomorrow morning. We'll have a look at the Celtic media news and see what's going around, and look forward to the games this weekend. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.